Right, hi, good evening everyone. Thanks for joining the stream. And today's stream is just me going through Godfather's World's um, later chapters because I finished stalking Monarch's chapters till when was it? Till next week. And I have to switch gears to put in effort to write at least 10 chapters for Godfather's World, but it's been a while, and a while is kinda like a month or so. I have mostly forgotten everything that I've written for Godfather's World, and I realized that the plot that I did isn't very detailed, which means I have to reread. And I thought, since I'm gonna reread this, I might as well reread this with people who might want to hear my voice, like killing two birds with one stone. So here I am, impromptu stream, kinda. Like, I just decided after my shower, I was like, hey, I have some time and I need to do some work. And I had good coffee and the coffee is working, so might as well just do this. Right, so that's about it. Okay, so let's get started. I hope the volume is okay today. I'm kind of coughing. I don't know why. Hey. This is a very chill session. Okay, so this is my web novel profile. I have like several works here. So yeah, as you can see, it's a lot. I scroll a lot, and this is just web novel. I have more, but I'm not posting it here. So the one that I want to look at today is here, Godfather World. There we go. So currently it's at 27 chapters. It's a VR. I will be going straight into chapter 20. Let's see. I'll be going straight to the VR action, chapter 24. So according to the plot, it's day 3. Yeah, arc 2, day 3. So it's somewhere here, which I have not written. So it's like here. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a real mess. So yeah, anyways, for the benefit of people who don't know what this is going to be about, I guess I'll start with the synopsis. So Godfather's World is a VR battle royale mafia kind of story. So for those of you who know Sword Art Online, yes, it's kind of similar. If you die in game, you die in real life, that kind of story. And it's a battle royale kind of thing. So I think it's something similar to like High School of the Dead. But anyway, so the cover over here that you see is actually made by my BFF, my artist BFF. Her name is Crustalos. So she did this for me and I decided to just stick to it. So yeah, advanced chapters will be on Patreon. This is not for contract. I initially thought that I would participate this in WSA, but I thought about it and I was like, nah, I don't think it will be loved. So I decided to move it on to private. Updates would be twice a week. So yeah, that's about it. So the synopsis. In a world ruled by criminals, civilians live a shit life. A cook gets shot to death for saving a man's life and gets an audience with God. Civilians are humans too, he complained. As compensation, God shoved him into the body of Zentaro, the Taro family's useless third young master. Does he have a cheat ability? Yeah, the ability to learn at hyperspeed. Does he have a particular set of skills? Definitely gaming and cooking. Does he have a goal in mind? To be the next Godfather? Maybe. Any obstacles? Too many to even count. Watch him survive the crazy VR battle royale using his superb culinary skills and civilian common sense. The read me uwu was something Trudon helped me out with. So yeah, it's a read me uwu. Uwu is not grammatically right, but yeah, you get the point. So these are my beta readers, and this is made by my very talented BFF. And then if you want to read extra chapters, you can check out the Patreon. I can probably show you guys how it works. Kind of. I don't know. Like, I'm still in the middle of trying to make this Patreon thing work. I'm so confused. Right, so there's Godfather. There's Godfather. This is 2 chapters. This is, I think, 10 chapters. And then there is, no, this is not Godfather. This is, there's Godfather here. So this is 30 chapters, but it's only coming in June. which means my scheduler looks kind of like this. So yeah, there we go. We have all the chapters that's published right now, and then we have the chapters that are waiting to be stocked. So this is tier 1, 2 chapters advanced, 10 chapters advanced, 30 chapters advanced, and these are the dates. So yeah, I need to rush like a lot of chapters out. So this is a grand total of whooping 48 chapters I need to write by the end of next month. And maybe I don't know, man, 10 chapters before 1st May, which means I have one day-ish to do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, to be honest. Yeah, I have 10 to get done by then. I need to get 10 done. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the story. I will read from chapter 24 onwards, which is the VR part. So if you guys are interested, you guys can probably read from the beginning. It's free to read on webnovel. Links should be on the YouTube description if you are interested. Chapter 24, First Dive. Sorry I'm late, did you wait long? Although it was virtual reality, Liu Feng could tell that it was Zen. In fact, nobody else would have this much guts to run up to him without stating their business. Zen did sound a little out of breath, and the seer wondered if the feeble boy was able to clear the first stage of the dungeon without anyone's help. He was simply too weak. With a frown, Liu Feng jumped off the tree he was sitting in and blew the slimes chasing Zen with a powerful whirlwind kick. The poor monsters flew away with high-pitched cries, mimicking the sounds of kittens whining, and Zen felt his heart clench in pity. They might be monsters, but Zen thought that they were rather adorable when they weren't hell-bent on chasing him. Seeing how the immediate danger was over now that his protector was here, Zen collapsed onto the ground breathlessly. Who would have thought that the slimes would start chasing him the moment he left the spawn town's protection area? This VR game's difficulty was set too high. Zen didn't know what would happen if he died in the dungeon game. Would he also die in reality? Seeing how shaken Zen was on his first dive experience, Liu Feng thought it might be better to take Zen to a safe area and explain some basic rules. Follow me, the blind teen said, and helped Zen onto his feet. I know a good safe zone for camping that slimes won't attack. There is a repellent herb that grows in the area. Impressed by Liu Feng's knowledge about the VR dungeon world, Zen nodded and followed the seer, holding onto his sleeve upon Liu Feng's insistence. As a blind person, the VR world replication handicapped Liu Feng more than others. Without his sense of sight, Liu Feng could only rely on his sense of hearing. The VR game didn't replicate wind and ground vibrations, unlike reality. He often had troubles locating the monsters and enemies until they were too close for comfort in the upper levels. It was the only reason why he was still unable to clear the 15th floor. The area that Liu Feng led them to was a meadow. Zen thought that the safe spot would be a little more secluded, away from prying eyes, but the game developers continued to surprise him. This Godfather's dungeon was very unlike the regular VR games he played. While many elements were familiar and consistent with the games he played, the unpredictability of the game's main framework made Zen question the motive of the developer. Unlike regular games created for a user's enjoyment, this dungeon game was designed to permanently eliminate players. We're here, Liu Feng said, and Zen released his hold on Liu Feng's sleeve. He looked around the empty field and noticed that the seer was right. There weren't any slimes within sight, and Zen wondered how Liu Feng found this out. Which is the slime repellent herb? Zen asked. He wanted to collect some as a preventive measure. The seer shrugged. Beats me. It's just a piece of information I gathered after meeting many NPCs in this stage trying to find that sole NPC quest giver. There are disadvantages to being a blind gamer. Zen looked around in the field and wondered if he was able to find it by mere gathering. The game didn't seem to have any inspection skills, which was strange for Zen. Shouldn't games have tutorials or guides to explain the game mechanics? This should be your first time diving into the dungeon, Liu Feng stated. Zen nodded before giving him an affirmative reply, forgetting that Liu Feng couldn't sense things within the game. It must be tough for Liu Feng. Yet, Zen couldn't help but be reminded once more how powerful this person was. Despite his handicap, Liu Feng cleared the stages on his own all the way to the 15th floor, while Sasha was still stuck at the 5th stage. Akiko and I must be the few who made it past the 10th floor. So while we don't know what lies ahead until we clear those floors, this is what I can tell you about the stages from here to the 14th floors. Consider the first 10 stages as tutorials. Here, your aim is to complete quests, to attain in-game items and recipes to assist you in the next stages. The only way to get items is by finishing quests. This quest can be repeated as many times as required, but most people don't bother. It's a waste of time. This piqued Zen's curiosity. Why a waste of time? The seer made a strange expression, as if he ate something odd. The items do not often appear even after slaying the monsters once the quest is over. It's faster to simply move to the next level once you defeat the stage's boss monster. Besides, you get better items in the next stage. As long as you use them sparingly, you'll be alright. As a gamer, Zen didn't know if this logic was alright. These people were mafia, and perhaps they were used to being minimalist. However, Zen preferred to be fully prepared before a huge raid. As a gamer, tactics and ample preparation is required before any boss battles. Merely raising a character's level and stats isn't enough to beat a high-level boss. These people simply took advantage of their natural ability as a strong stat character to power through levels. It wouldn't be long before they hit a roadblock. Even despite the alliances of parties and guilds, these people still act as freelancers from different families. I see, Zen simply said, keeping the opinions to himself for now. Liu Feng frowned. Each stage has a different monster and agenda, but they are mostly weak to people like us who were born and trained in the mafia. It might be a different case for you. You could die when you battle wolves and kobolds. Wolves and kobolds? Zen felt his gamer soul shiver with excitement hearing it. So far, he only saw slimes no matter where he went. He didn't know if there would be other monsters, but Liu Feng confirmed their existence for him. What's after stage 10? He asked. Perhaps there would be stronger monsters like orcs and dragons. The seer sighed. It's a completely different world. If the first 10 stages were quest guided that offers the player items and recipes, the next few stages are akin to a hardcore wilderness. There are no save zones, and there is a death penalty. Death penalty? Zen felt a chill down his spine. Had people already died in the game and had their bodies removed from the rooms without him knowing? I was careless on the 12th floor and died once, Liu Feng admitted. There was a long silence, and Zen tried to wrap his head around the news. But how are you still alive? You're not a ghost or a zombie now, are you? The seer laughed at Zen's conclusion. How refreshing. His innocence just made Liu Feng want to own him all the more. No, I'm not. However, unlike dying in the first 10 stages, dying from floor 11 onwards will require you to pay a price. From what I experienced, 100 credits are deducted from my balance for a revival. It is automatically deducted and you get respawned at the 10th floor's town. It's a really good thing you can skip to the level you died at once you cleared the other level bosses. Else I would have really hated leaving my progress and losing it all to meet you here. Zen understood. Losing progress was any gamer's frustration. However, through talking with Liu Feng, he gained some very valuable information. This VR dungeon game doesn't appear to be as simple as a regular RPG game. The elements changed through stages and floors. What's the theme on floor 11? He asked. The seer frowned. I don't really know. Unlike the open world concept here with villages, towns, and hunting grounds, the next few floors past that take place in a crypt or a castle with never-ending walls and corridors. It feels like a maze, but not even Akiko knows what it is. According to her, there are no windows wherever she went, and she doesn't know if it was day or night. Hearing how the monsters in the next few stages were difficult to defeat, Zen was curious why Liu Feng didn't make further progress. The blind man sighed. The stage I'm stuck in has a boss that doesn't make any sounds when it appears. According to Akiko, she had troubles defeating it as well. In fact, she had to use items to get past that stage. For me, it doesn't matter what kind of items I use. I doubt it will work. Curious about what was plaguing Liu Feng, Zen asked for more details about the boss Liu Feng couldn't defeat, and Akiko struggled with. Hesitant, the seer explained that it was a ghost boss. The Death Princess used blindness cure eye drops to get past that stage. The boss is annoying because it has an area blindness effect. When you get hit by the blindness effect, you aren't able to tell where it is. However, as I was originally blind, it becomes impossible for me to do anything, even if I had a blindness cure. Zen cringed. No wonder the seer was stuck at that stage. It was designed to be his stumbling block. What a terrible match of attributes. Why don't you party with someone to clear the stage? He asked. Zen wasn't confident in his abilities to help Liu Feng, but if someone like Sasha was there, they could breeze through it. The stubborn seer huffed. I don't trust them not to stab me in the back. Besides, boss item drops only go to one person. That's the reason why everyone is desperately trying to clear a boss by themselves. Zen didn't know if he should laugh or cry when he heard this. Instead, he decided to let Liu Feng in on a revelation. You can defeat the stage boss multiple times to get the drop, he explained. There was no reason why they couldn't do this in-game. At that, Liu Feng froze. You can? Zen nodded. It should be possible. The first dungeon boss of this level still spawns after you defeated it, right? At that, the seer stood up. Wait for me, he told Zen. I'll check and be right back. Without another word of warning, Liu Feng sped off to find the boss of this level. If boss drops could be attained multiple times, this information will be beneficial for the guild's advancement. Left alone in the safe zone, Zen looked at different plant lives. There was a slime monster repellent plant somewhere, right? With a cheeky grin, he started picking out different grass and flowers. If there was no inspection skills, he would just have to try this the old-fashioned method. It was a good thing that he was a relatively fast runner when compared to the bouncing slimes. My throat. Hello, FBI agent Jill. Nice to see you in the stream. Okay, chapter 25, Birthing an Area Boss. 5 times the charm, Zen told himself and eyed the slimes gathered near the red fir tree. He didn't know what slimes these were, but they were orange and made strange clinking noises when they bounced. Honestly, Zen only chose to test the different effects of herbs he gathered around the orange slimes because they bounced the slowest. It didn't make the experience less terrifying, but Zen reassured himself that this was his highest chance at success. Zen tested the buttercup-looking flower, the white three-petaled flower, and the droopy blue flower's effects earlier. None of those worked, and he moved on to the grass types. Thanks to his excellent observation skills, Zen gathered a total of 13 plant types from that meadow. The long grass did nothing, so Zen decided to try the dewy grass. The grass fiber felt sticky in his hands, and Zen didn't know what sort of effect this grass had. It should be a medicinal grass, but Zen didn't know anything about it. Heck, he wasn't even sure if real-world knowledge applied to this VR game. Liu Feng wasn't back yet, and Zen braced himself to test the sticky dew grass. The 5th time has to be the charm. Zen placed the other herbs by the rock and covered them with his discarded shirt so that the wind wouldn't blow them away. He learned his lesson after the first time. It was so inconvenient without an in-game item box or inventory, he had to ask Liu Feng about NPC traders. If they existed in the game, Zen wanted to check them out ASAP. He approached the orange slime slowly, so as not to alert them too quickly. Zen felt his heart pounding nervously. If this was real, he would be covered in sweat by now. The orange slimes didn't seem to notice him, even when Zen passed the safe area's estimated border. This made Zen slightly puzzled, but he didn't question it further. Snap! The sound of a dry twig under his right foot made Zen flinch, as the orange slimes turned their focus to him. He intended to run back to safety when the strangest thing happened. The orange slimes didn't advance. Instead, they huddled closer to each other despite the hostile energy. Zen stood rooted to the spot, observing their reactions. They don't seem to be actively hostile and out for his life. If anything, they appeared threatened. Zen looked at the sticky grass in his hand. Could it be? With more courage than before, Zen took another step forward towards the orange slimes. The slimes tensed and vibrated into a strange cluster. Zen smirked. This might be it. Without hesitating, Zen ran forward with nothing but the sticky dew grass in his hands, and as expected, the slimes were afraid. They didn't attack or retreat. Instead, they huddled even closer together. Zen noticed how some of them were squished to death by their comrades. How awful! Zen didn't stop there. He ran closer and closer to the orange slime group with a crazy grin on his face. This was it! He could defeat the slimes easily just by using a repellent herb. If they couldn't attack him and couldn't run, Zen would easily defeat them. Although it felt like bullying, he couldn't help it. The weak had to be shameless to survive. Gurgle, gurgle. The orange slimes started to fuse into one another when Zen was less than 10 steps away. Zen halted and stared at the unique event happening before his eyes with a slackened jaw. Armored Slime Area Boss requirements have been met. The first birth of the Armored Slime Boss is commencing. The game system's announcement appeared on everyone's screen, and almost everywhere there was an uproar. Most people in the dungeon tried to hurry to the spot, while others who were not in the game rushed to find out what was happening. Zen looked at the huge orange slime that towered over him. The Armored Slime Boss was birthed after over 10 orange slimes fused together. He stared at the dewy grass in his hand. Did the slime repellent work on boss slimes too? His question was soon answered when the aggroed Armored Slime Boss released its first area attack. Armored Slime Boss used heavy bounce. All participating raid players have 20% reduced speed. Armored Slime Boss has increased its defense by 20%. Although the first wave of attack did not hurt, Zen was still sent flying by the shockwaves. In addition, he could feel his body getting heavier, as if he had just finished running a mile. Zen didn't need to think before he started running. He couldn't defeat regular slimes. How was he going to defeat an area boss? Liu Feng didn't tell him anything about this. Help! Zen yelled to whoever might be in the area. At the same time, he sent messages to everyone who accepted his friend request, hoping to get reinforcements. The Armored Slime Boss did not stop even as Zen crossed the safe area border, and Zen wanted to cry. At this rate, the area boss would kill him before he made it back to Spawn Town. The Godfather is impressed by your in-game discovery. You have been awarded 100 credits. When he saw the notification, Zen wanted to cry. Was this a sponsor for his revival fees? Liu Feng didn't say anything about death penalties on the first dungeon floor, but if it applies to every floor, Zen didn't know how many 100 credits he had to spend to defeat this area boss if nobody came to his rescue. Just when he thought that he couldn't run any further, a familiar voice yelled for him to dodge. Zen didn't question his instincts and dropped to the ground just as a huge shadow of the slime boss loomed over his head. Bang, bang! 2 shots. The slime monster screamed in pain at taking damage, and Zen looked up. From a distance, he spotted Sasha and teared up in relief. The battle was far from over, and the slime's defenses were too strong for her weak in-game shotgun to reach. Sasha clicked her tongue in annoyance at how little damage she did to this area boss. All the weapons in this game were trash. If she had a sniper rifle, it would have blown this disgusting orange blob into bits. Run! Zen yelled at his big sister when he saw how the orange boss doubled in size as it sucked in air. This was going to be a powerful attack, and Sasha was directly in its line of fire. Sasha reacted quickly to Zen's warning and narrowly dodged the powerful air blast that would have put her out of commission. She paled. Even the pink slime boss in the first level wasn't as difficult to defeat. What was this orange slime monster? Where did it come from? Zen didn't know what he could do and looked around helplessly. In this game, both Sasha and he were too weak to defeat this monster. They had no skills, weapons, or knowledge to defeat this orange blob. He secretly apologized to Sasha, who came to his rescue. Maybe when they revive, he would transfer her some credits for her revival fee and make her extra custard pudding as an apology for the traumatic experience. Just before Zen could say his prayers, he received a new notification. All party members of Godly Food have arrived. Area boss difficulty will be adjusted for a party raid. Okay, I think this is the last chapter that I'm gonna read, and then I will start writing the continuation anyways. Alright, so chapter 26, Party Raid. Zen blinked. Party raid? Would that make the boss stronger or weaker? His question was soon answered when Liu Feng and Akiko struck the orange slime boss simultaneously. Sasha mirrored Zen's shocked expression, full of disbelief as the orange blob exploded. Isn't this cheating? Zen asked himself and watched the orange goo rain down upon him. Standing above everything were the two most powerful members of his party and guild. Armored slime boss have been defeated by party Godly Food, calculating contribution rates to distribute area boss rewards. Are you okay? Akiko asked, walked up to Zen, and Liu Feng touched the orange goo that fell onto his hand in curiosity. Zen felt embarrassed that he had to be helped up by a lady, even though he was a man. Even Sasha ran over to them like she didn't just almost die, and Zen wondered if the mafia heirs were incapable of feeling fear. None of his party members froze up or hesitated in the face of adversity. Sasha didn't even run when she understood how useless her shotgun was, and Zen didn't know what to think about himself. Congratulations on defeating the Armored Slime Boss. You received Armored Slime Boss Goo as your reward. Congratulations on being the first to discover the birthing requirements of Stage 1's area boss. You are awarded the title Slime Researcher. Congratulations on discovering the uses for different herbs. You have unlocked a unique skill, Foraging Encyclopedia. Congratulations on being the first party to succeed a party raid. Your party receives a special party skill, Heavy Bounce. As the notification spammed his vision, Zen couldn't see the expression on his party member's face. Like him, the number of achievements and rewards they received shocked them. Zen decided to check his status after receiving so many new rewards. Name, Zen. Title, Enemy of the Round Table. Description, you have offended the Round Table families by siding with the Godfather. Effects, Fame plus 100, special attention by the Godfather. Slime Researcher. Description, your dedication to learning about slimes gives you a better understanding of their weakness. Effects, ability to understand slime-related monsters. Raises item drop chances to 100% when a slime is killed by one who equips this title. Age 15. Abilities, Cooking and Gaming. In-game abilities, Foraging Encyclopedia. Effects, allow player to understand all plant life and uses in-game. Credits 1500. Items, Armored Slime Boss Glue. Description, can be used to make intermediate healing salve. Rank 100. Guild, Survivors, Role, Advisor. Primary Party, Godly Food. Party Leader. Party Abilities, Heavy Bounce. Effect, debuffs enemy speed by 20% and increases party defense by 20%. Zen looked at his new skills and abilities. Immediately, he equipped his new title and told his party members what he could do. Really? Sasha was impressed. Help me inspect the drop I received. Zen took a look at the drop she received and grinned. Armored Slime Boss Lungs. This is an excellent material for making an air rifle more powerful than the shotgun you have now. Zen, check mine too. The Deaf Princess hurriedly insisted, and Zen inspected the Armored Slime Boss skin she received. It makes intermediate armor, he told her, and the Deaf Princess studied the items in her hands. A good armor to clear the higher floors. Liu Feng didn't know what he was holding. He waited till the girls weren't paying attention to pass whatever it was to Zen. What are these? The system told me they were slime eyes. Are they really slime eyes? It feels closer to snooker balls. Zen looked at the glassy spheres in Liu Feng's hand and swallowed. Yes, they are slime eyes. Do you want me to inspect them? The seer nodded, and Zen activated his new ability. Item, Armored Slime Boss Eyes. Effect, can be crafted into a head accessory that allows permanent night vision, negates all blindness effects, and detects infrared light. Zen didn't know what to tell Liu Feng. The fact that the seer was blind made this sound like a mean prank. It was sadder that the item could not be sold or transferred because of its grading. This is a special item that can be made into an accessory. It is of special rarity and binds to the user. You should use it to turn it into a hair accessory. It could help you in the dungeon that you are currently struggling with. Zen's vague answer made Liu Feng curious, but Zen wouldn't tell him what it did no matter how he asked. Eventually, the seer let the matter go. Perhaps Zen really didn't know much about what it did either. I see, thank you. You guess about the boss monster drops multiple. Your guess about the boss monster dropping items multiple times is accurate. I will let Akiko know so that we can plan a good way to farm useful equipment for the other guild members. Strangely, the item drops from this armored slime boss is better than the boss of the dungeon. Do you know anything about it? Where did you find this area boss? Zen sighed. I'll explain tomorrow after the event, he told Leofold. We should sleep. The Ekkan can happen any moment, and making it through that event takes priority. The seer sighed in understanding and told Zen to rest well before he logged out. Zen told Sasha and Akiko the same thing, and the girls logged out soon after, giving Zen enough time to return to his VR room. After what happened, Zen had a lot of thinking to do alone. Perhaps this VR game isn't out to kill us all. There should be a way to clear this game without meaningless deaths. With that in mind, Zen pulled out his notebook and started scribbling. Okay, I am like finally caught up to where I was before the update stopped. This is probably a month ago or so. I will try to continue like writing this, kinda. Yeah. So that's all for today's live stream. It's just really for myself to refresh and for anyone who wants to hear it. The links to Godfather World should be in the YouTube description if you are there. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for joining the stream. It's rather short. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. The timing would be a little bit different, so check that out. We have a guest. It's Grand Void Taoist. He's